He would research his cars. Eventually he would buy a car, a very nice car. And if I was lucky, I could sit in the back seat of that car. And as we were pulling up to the reception, Kirsten points out and says, "Hey, isn't that Nick driving your dad's car?" And I looked and I said, "It is." Have you ever sat in the front seat of that car? No, I have not. And my parents, as Alyssa and I were growing up, were always very careful to make sure that things were always equal. And so as I saw Nick driving in the car, my initial response of "this is unfair" turned to a thought of joy that my parents are going to continue this tradition of fairness. And so, Dad, thank you very much. I cannot wait to take that car.
Welcome, everyone. It was such a joy to me today to walk into that church on that kid's arm and see so many beautiful faces of people that mean the world to me. So thank you, all of you that have come tonight and came today. It's a dream come true. And Nick and Alyssa, a mother always dreams and pictures her daughter's wedding day. And today has been just perfect. It's been a dream come true. Finally. Took a while to get here, but we're glad that it's happening today. Alyssa, you are a stunning bride. Yeah. Stunning, absolutely stunning. And Nick, you're very handsome and very charming, and you look like you could be a centerfold from GQ. GQ is Gentleman's Quarterly. Okay, all right, sorry. John just rolled his eyes. Nick, we're here to welcome you to the family, but officially tonight. But we're so grateful. Nick, for those of you who don't know, Nick actually lived with us for a period of months, and what a great guy Alyssa has caught here. He is wonderful. And I remember one incident where we had, I don't know, 20 or 30 people for a dinner, for Thanksgiving dinner. And most of us after the dinner had just gone into the living room and played games or had dessert. And I came back into the kitchen hours later, and every dish, Brenda Parkinson, was cleaned up by your son.
Aww.
And I thought, wow, what a guy. So, Nick, we love you. I have a lot of other Nick stories I could tell. Can I tell just one about him? Well, what a good sport he is. Nick's favorite dinner at our house is jerk chicken. So Thursday night, I decided, because the girls were going out, and I decided I would make jerk chicken and invite Nick over. And I had put pies in the oven, and I cooked jerk for years, Merlene's recipe, and had cooked it for years and years and years, and pulled everything out of the oven, and we sat down at the table, and lots of people were at the table, and they start cutting into their meat, and I think Nick had taken a taste, and he's so polite he hadn't said anything. The chicken was raw. And John turns to me and says, "Oh, great, Elizabeth. I can just see the headlines on the Calgary Herald. Future mother-in-law poisons groom. I prayed all night long for my future son-in-law. I did. I asked Aaron, what time would it hit? And Aaron said, 3 a.m. Check the clock today. Anyway, Nick, you are charming, handsome. We are proud and very honored, Nick, to have you as a part of our family and to welcome you. So on behalf of all the Smiths and all the Mackeys, we are glad you're here, and we welcome you with open arms, and we want you to know you will always be our favorite son-in-law.
You know, throughout the years, families develop traditions. One of my favorite movies of all times is Fiddler on the Roof, and in it the main character makes the following statement: "Without our traditions, our lives would be as shaky as the fiddler on the roof." Then he goes on to wryly observe, You may ask, how did this tradition get started? I'll tell you, I don't know. That seems to be the case with many traditions. The real meaning and significance of the traditions is lost in the mists of time. Nick, tonight in welcoming you to our family, I'm going to talk to you about a tradition. Just after we were married, I was given one of the most profound pieces of advice that I've ever received. We've all heard the childhood retort, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me." And yet it's not true. Words can hurt. And the Bible says the tongue has the ability to build up or break down, to bless or to curse. And the Bible also has a solution. It's called the blessing. I first learned about the blessing through this book. The blessing, giving the gift of unconditional love and acceptance. I don't have time to go into all the aspects of it, but let me focus on one piece. Because of the power of words, God instructed the ancient Jews to bless their children. And we see many stories in the Bible where the patriarchs laid hands on the children's heads and blessed them. And so from the time Alyssa was a little girl, after she was tucked into bed, I would lay my hand on her head and say the following blessing over her. And the blessing has three parts. First, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord bless you is the positive aspect of God's involvement in our lives. In Jeremiah 29 we read, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." And the Lord keep you is about God's protection in our lives. The second part of the blessing, the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. Have you ever seen the face of a grandparent when their grandchild comes to visit? They absolutely light up. And this part of the blessing encourages us to realize that God delights in us and that his love is unfailing. And be gracious to you is about God showing favor to us. The last part, the Lord lift up his countenance on you and give you peace. In the psalm, God's lifting up his countenance is described as God's turning his full attention towards us to bring good into our lives. And last but not least, peace. Jesus said, "I'm leaving you with a gift, peace of mind and heart. And the peace I give is a gift the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid." So tonight, Nick, in welcoming you to the family, I give you my blessing with unconditional love and acceptance. The Lord bless you, Nick, and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance on you and give you peace.